guys, it's Floz. Welcome back to another Flosstube video. In today's video, I'll be talking about my cross-stitching update for the month of November and December. If you're interested in it, then keep watching. Today is 31st of December, the last day of 2022 in Melbourne, Victoria in Australia. Well, as you can see, we're finally fully in summer, so today is one of those somewhat warm days. The dogs are slightly suffering. We've got the aircon on. You might be hearing them panting here and there or walking sort of in and out of this area because they're a bit warm, being black doggos. I mean, I haven't done this for 2 months, so it could be a bit rusty. If there's something I'm forgetting or things I'll be talking about that seem to be illogical, just bear with me. Let me somewhat find my footing. Well, with my cross-stitch update videos, I tend to divide the videos up into different sections, so you can always find the sections you're interested in the description box if you click the more button. And I normally start off with hauls and then cross-stitching updates and maybe some stitching plans, and then it's sort of a personal update. So if you're not interested in the personal, you can just, exit. You can exit anytime you want. That's your freedom, obviously. Well, without further ado, let's get into haul. I've got my notes here on my iPad. So I normally talk about my hobby budget. If you're not sure, my hobby budget is $50 a month. That I can use to purchase cross-stitching related things. I can go over, but only once, which means if it goes into negative, I can't keep making it going into negative month after month after month. I can only make it go into negative for 1 month. So the end of October, I had $16.40. That's what's written on my notes. I hope it's correct. And then I went to the November stitching meetup thing in my area. So previously we were meeting up in a local cafe, and then I think I was doing something else during one stitching meetup, so something unpleasant happened and they didn't want to go to that cafe anymore because it just got a bit awkward. Then the person that started this stitching meetup decided to explore other options, so they found this local library that had rooms for hire, and it was maybe $15 per hour or something like that. So then we decided to split the fee up among whoever will go that month. So for November, it was $10 a person. So I decided to use my hobby budget to pay for the stitching meetup as well, because JP uses his hobby budget to pay for his tournaments and all that. So I thought it's only fair that I do it too. So with that $10 left me $6.04. And then it was November. That brought me another $50. So at the start of November, I got $56.40. Then I mean, it was lucky, but I probably shouldn't keep going on to the Aussie cross stitch stash unload, because I sometimes find things I really want. So if you have been following me, if I guess I have to bring up something I tend to collect, which I'm not hoarding cross stitch as much as some of the other people might, or some of the cross stitchers might. I tend to be on the sort of conservative side of things when it comes to buying, but I sometimes will collect certain dimensions cross stitch kits. So I have bought secondhand the Magnificent Wizard, and then I thought it would be awesome if I could get the, I guess you can say, companion piece, the Scarlet Wizard, but that Scarlet Wizard is even harder to find and more expensive. But I found it on Cross Stitch Stash Unload, and I literally just shotgun bought it. So here it is. Apparently everything's there. I haven't even opened it. I don't normally check my kit once I purchase it. I only do it once I decide to start it. So it hasn't been started. Obviously the packaging is a bit shabby, it's all broken, but the person that sold me the kit said everything's in there. And it's the, I don't know whether there is like a Chinese version of this, but this is the US version. And how big is it? It's 14 by 16 inch, 36 by 41 centimeters, and it's on black Ada, I think 18 count. Oh jeez, one piece of plastic just flew out. And yeah, it is cool. Well, because this was somewhat rare, so it wasn't super cheap. It ended up being $80 with postage included. So I thought I was still pretty good, considering on eBay I tend to see like more than $200 and possibly from America. I just decided to take that price. And then I got another one. So I've seen this pattern a couple times, more at the start of my stitching career, if you could call it a career. It's Chinese themed, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted it. And then every time I saw it, I was like, it would be nice to have it, but it's kind of not my style. And then a couple times the charts just got purchased by someone else. So then this chart came up again. Then I decided to buy it. So this is the 8 Immortals. It is about sort of Chinese mythical characters. These 8 people that were, I think, originally just human beings, and then they had to go through some kind of tests and challenges to become gods. And I thought it would be fun. And it's one of the bigger ones again. So, what is it? So the size is 480 by 373. And obviously it is not a full coverage. But yeah, it will be cool. So pretty much, it's quite easy to get to some interesting things unless you're stitching this guy. I don't know. Yeah, because this guy had so much skin exposed. So if you're stitching this guy, it would be very boring. But otherwise, I think it will be a very interesting stitch. So yeah, I got this one, and it was $17.50 with postage. So all up, $41.10 down. So I had, yeah, $56.40, and then after these two purchases, I was $41.10 down. And then it was December, another $50 rolled in, so then I am now $8.90 up. And last year, I remember for Jan, I gave myself like $100 extra because I wanted to reward myself for sticking with like this whole hobby budget concept still. I feel like this year, I don't know whether I want to do that this time because I actually bought a table stand. So I have this pretty large Q-snap, I think it's 11 by 17 inch, and it's very awkward to hold, but right now my Lowry stand is holding the quantum frames. So I needed something to hold this Q-snap, which has a project that I'm stitching right now. So I went on Etsy to find something sort of on the affordable side. They have quite a few options, but they tend to be very small and more for like hoops and all that. But I want something that can hold Q-snaps. So I know there's this Australian carpenter that got into making cross-stitch stands and is actually quite well known in the Aussie Stitches Facebook groups. So, and it so happened recently he came up with this, I guess, two variations of table stand. So one has a clamp, the other one is like a smaller version of his classic, I think it's one of those ones with two arms coming out and something to stop the cross stitch from sliding down, so you can just pop it on there. I don't know whether I'm explaining it properly. If there's a photo, I will show you a photo. So I was sort of torn between the two, whether I should get the one with the arms or just get the clamps. I was hoping to get something that also can be popped on my legs because that's normally how I stitch when I watch TV. And he said the cross stitch stand is designed to be put onto the table, so he can't guarantee that it would work on my lap. But with that in mind, I decided to go with the clamp because the legs will take more space and there will be some areas where you can't kind of have to maneuver your piece to get to because the legs are covering it. I hope I'm making sense. I'm really bad at describing things. So that stand is not cheap. It was, I want to say 280 Australian dollars or something with postage included. So I bought that and that was shipped on 11th of December and I still haven't got it yet because the whole delivery system is all clogged up with people purchasing Christmas presents everywhere. And hopefully I will be able to get it at the start of Jan, like first week, fingers crossed. And then I'm hoping with that stand, it will make stitching with me much easier to film because now it's stable. And also if I want to film me stitching something small, it can happen now because I don't have to hold it. I can just sort of clamp it onto the stand. The guy does have like YouTube channels to explain and showcase his products, so I will link the description down below if I can find it, and also like put a picture up just to show you, you know, what it looks like. The person is called, well, at least the person is called Gus, and this cross stitch, no, this, his Facebook group or page is called Gus Creations, I think. What else did I write? Oh yeah, so I have talked about in October I had a miscarriage and I wanted to buy something to cheer me up. So I actually thought about kitting more things up rather than buying like a stand. But then I realized even if I can kit more things up, I don't have enough time to stitch, so I can't start them. So I thought I might as well buy me something that can help me finish whatever I already started. So I thought that was like a logical choice. And I'm sure it will really cheer me up once I receive it. I just have to patiently wait for it. And that's all for the haul. I haven't really purchased much. And I don't know, well, I guess I'll talk about it later in the plans section about what I might purchase. So that's the end of the haul. Let's talk about what I've been stitching. I think I have eight projects, 8 whips, and these 2 months I worked on 5 of them. Hello again, this is the editing floss here. I realized that I forgot to mention that I finally framed the napping kitten from several months ago. I bought cheap 5x7-inch IKEA frame, cut some mat board to size, then used steel pins to pin the fabric in place on all 4 sides and sort of stretch the fabric at the same time. I didn't lace at the back this time. I mean, I've never laced, so I don't know what it would be like. It was a bit too bulky at the back for the frame, but it kind of worked. At least it looks good in the front. And now it's gifted to my sister-in-law on Christmas Day and she liked it. So I wrote, in November I had 3 days no stitching, and in December I had 6 days. Well, normally with my stitching updates, I tend to tell you like how many hours I worked on each project. I don't actually know whether people care about that, and it's actually really hard for me to calculate it. I literally had to go into every day to add the times up. So this time I'll just give you how many days I've stitched on each project. So the first one up is, I have most of the things here. This is Jingle Paws mitten ornaments. So there are 4. So this is a set of 4. And it is a kit that I sort of got as a freebie with another purchase. The person was kind enough to just gift this one to me. And I think last time I was stitching mouse and reindeer. Last time when I was talking to you, I might have finished like 20% of it or something, but I actually finished it. Oh, which is this one. This one. I have to grab it. There it is. So I finished the first mitten. It is quite Christmassy, as you can see. The only difference is the Noel. It was supposed to be stitched in green, but yeah, I did it in a wrong color and I was too lazy to fix it. So I just decided to leave it. There's something I actually want to say. So this, I don't know whether the kit was just missing some colors by default or the colors sort of just, how do I say this? Went missing from like the broken bag, but the kit actually was missing 2 colors, one green and one possibly Krennic. So I was getting very confused between two colors. So there's this particular green. I wasn't sure whether it belonged to one number or the other. And I actually had both colors in my stash. And I compared with them. But this green color included in the kit didn't look like either of the colors. So I decided just, okay, this green is this color, and then I used my stash to make the other color. And I still need to buy the Krennic. So yeah, that was very confusing. But because it's free, I didn't really mind too much. What else? So after I finished this reindeer, mouse and reindeer, I went on to do a second one. And what is this one? This one is called, I think it's called Bunny List. So it's this one. So what can I tell you about this? You would think that I stitched a lot around Christmas, but I actually ended up stitching mostly in November. So I was motivated to finish this one up, and then I thought, okay, Christmas is coming, I should be sort of pushing on. So I started working on this, but then I just got bored. As you can see, it's very repetitive on the border. It's sort of just variation of green, red, and you kind of stitch on and on and on, and it can just get boring really quick. Another thing is there are quite a lot of quarter stitches, and it's quite confusing on Ada. I mean, I've done quarter stitches on Adas before, but yeah, you have to pierce through the fabric, which is a bit annoying. And also, the one I finished, actually I was using two strands over one square, whereas the pattern is actually calling for 3 strands over one. So I changed it on this. Don't know whether you can tell that this is, I guess, better coverage. Can you? Does this one have more coverage? Or more vibrant? I don't know. So the fabrics are actually cut up by the previous owner. I didn't have to do anything. It's pretty much like evenly cut. So when I do have the courage to finish it into like the gloves that are shown as preview, it will be easier, because and it's also got instructions on how to do the cording and all that. Maybe next Christmas. So with the Jingle Paws, I stitched for 14 days, and like what I said, mostly in November. I think December I might have stitched a couple of days, sort of in the first 10 days or something. And that's it for this one. Then the next lot is Spring Will Come. So this one is a it's a full coverage by Artisy, and the artist is Vitas, and I will show you a preview here. I've only stitched it for 5 days, and I will show you what it looks like. Oh wow. And I just dropped something on the... I think last time when you saw it, it would have been somewhat similar, but there's less moon done. and maybe slightly less blue. Ugh. Go closer. And hopefully there's a comparison video. So this one is, what's the stitch count? 211 by 300, so it's like rectangular. It's longer rather than wide. What else can I tell you? I'm stitching it on a 16 count Aida. And this cover is by Taryn from Tazia Handmaids. And the bar is quantum frame, I think 60 centimeters. Yep. Right now I am sort of bored with this one because the moon is quite boring. There's a lot of cream, light grey, beige. So I kind of break it up with the blue on the side, but I'm scared to finish the blue quickly because there's a lot more moon here. So I've finished first page. Now I'm on to the second page and this page. So I'm kind of hoping to do the staggered version or diagonal version, like by page, sort of. So do it this and then this way. So at least I can cover a lot of different aspects of the child rather than just always focused on one part. Because imagine if I am only doing page 2, I would have been so bored, like bored out of my brain, and really tried to avoid this. And so I'm stitching this one on, oh jeez, Markup RXP, and recently there is this huge update because, so if you're not familiar with Markup RXP, it's like this alternative cross-stitching reader software thing for Apple products, because Pattern Keeper is only available for Androids and Markup RXP is the one for iOS. Before, Markup RXP can only do page by page, and a lot of people have been complaining about not being able to, or not easy enough to sort of see 2 pages in one go, because Pattern Keeper you can zoom in, or you can load the whole chart and just zoom in into one section and just stitch that. You don't have to worry about page at all. So now this new update can allow you to do it. The only thing is, it's really easy to load a brand new chart with nothing marked, which I have done twice. So I loaded 2 of the PDF charts in there. What's the function called? It's called full chart function. It was very easy to do. Everything's very smooth. It will prompt you to select your keys, your preview page, and it will recognize all the charted pages. But once you have marked something off, it gets very tricky because it doesn't quite recognize the grid. You really have to select it, and once you thought you loaded everything correctly, the preview, or like, yeah, the preview function doesn't quite show everything, but at least you get to zoom into one section and just sort of ignore the page breaks. So I thought that would hopefully speed up my stitching, at least for the spring will come. And before I did talk about like wanting to put it away after I hit the 10% mark, and I indeed hit the 10% mark, and apparently I already hit it before this like 5 days of stitching in these 2 months, but I didn't know. I'm not sure why I didn't know, but now I'm at 10.4%. So after this video, I will put this one away and bring back the countryside onto the Lowry stand. And I dropped something, so I have to pick it up. So this will be my dust bag. It's also made by Taryn from Tazia Handmaids. So the bars will live in here until I'm happy with the progress of the countryside. Then this will come up again. In the meantime, I want to tell you something. Oh yes, so I'm pretty sure I have mentioned this before, but I actually didn't load this properly because, as you can see, this was rolled up like this, whereas it should have been rolled up the other way. That's why this area is very tight and it's kind of poking out a bit. So once I bring it out next time, I will load it properly. So hopefully the tension will be even better. And that's this one. It's really big. Don't know whether there's anything else I want to tell you about this. I think that's it. And then the next project I worked on is, I just call it bunnies because it is a chart I bought on Etsy by, I think, Unicorn Designs, and the preview will be here. Once it's finished, it will be a gift for JP's friend that designed our sort of like the little icons that tend to pop up on the what's the word? Previews? On the previews of the video? Is that the word? I don't know. These days I tend to forget certain words. I don't know whether it's because I had COVID. But anyways, so yeah, you would have seen those logos before. There's one for me, one for JP, and then there's one of us together. And I stitched it for 7 days, 5 days in November and 2 days in December. And I will show you how much I've done. Oh. So this is how much I've done. And there should have been a comparison video, photo next to it too. I don't think last time when you saw it, I did this much border. This side would have been somewhat similar though, because I was more focused on the border. This one is pretty kind of watercolor-esque, but it's quite boring to stitch, to be honest, because there are a lot of browns on the bunnies, and even like the border where there are random blues, the blues don't show up as much. It's more like the pastel colors. What else? And I feel like I'm just complaining about this now. So this one I loaded onto Markup RXP thinking, because it's a PDF file, it should have been working okay, but it didn't. So I think the chart technically was not compatible with Markup RXP, so the grid just couldn't line up properly, and it's not recognizing the different symbols very well. So sometimes it happens that one symbol could be recognized as multiple different colors, just because version A had the symbol completely covered, looking very sharp and crisp. Color B had like a little bit of some other symbols, and version C had another symbol, sort of the edge of another symbol. So they're all recognized as different symbols even though they're the same colors. And it's really hard to put them together, so the whole like stitch calculating function literally doesn't quite work. And also this one, it's not supposed to be, but you can stitch this one as a full coverage. So the background, this one has heaps of background, would just be one color, but I don't want to stitch that, so I'm stitching it as a non-full coverage version. But Markup RXP doesn't really recognize it, so sometimes it will count the empty slot as a color. So the stitch count of this is rubbish. But so far I have stitched apparently 1,911 stitches, so I'm thinking maybe I'm at roughly 10%, but I will never know for sure. And I did say it's not fun to stitch because at times there will be just a ninja stitch somewhere, so you never get the satisfaction of getting one color out and very easily finish that thread. More often than not, you have to do that one stitch in the corner, do some other stitch, and then put the color away, which I really hate, but it happens a lot with this particular project. That's why I tend to take it out, stitch it for a couple of days, get really bored and really frustrated with it, and then just put it away. Yeah, it's I was more focused on the bunny to begin with, and then I got really bored because of the color choices. And then I thought, oh, I might feel better once I got onto the border. Then I got onto the border. Yes, there is more color, but it's still mainly the toned down colors. I like my bright pop of something, so this is quite hard to keep working on. But I'll just randomly work on it and push on, because I don't know, I want to get things finished. I don't want to drag this on for like 10 years. The person's got 2 bunnies. I'm hoping I'll finish it before the 2 bunnies pass away. So that is this one. And then the next one I worked on is Coffee Break. I should have told you, this one is 2/1. I stitched on 16 count hand dyed Ada. It's just called Blue Sky. Who dyed it? Paddock Lane Designs. She dyed this fabric. Okay, the next one is Coffee Break by Design Works. It is a kit, and it's stitched on 14 count Ada 2/1, and this is the preview. It's probably better if I take it out. There you go. And I didn't work on this one very much for the 2 months. Oh, I worked on it only in November for 6 days. And I finished 3 coffees, and I'm working on the 4th one. And yes, it is a wrinkled mess. So that's how much I've stitched, and there should be a comparison photo there. I just got bored of this because, as you can see, this pattern, what is it? Cafe au lait? It covers quite a bit of the square, but it's very pinkish and it's mainly one color. I just get so bored. I pushed myself to stitch it for a couple more days and then just had to put it away. And hopefully next time when it comes out, I'll finish this square. There's not much I can say about it. Yeah, I'm thinking once this square is finished, I might move on to the mocha. Because I get to use a purple, it looks like. Yeah, and there's a lot more coffee colors. I think it's quite satisfying to stitch with the brown, just because mentally, you know, you're stitching a coffee project. It should look like a coffee, which is the deep, rich brown. But then I also don't want to keep stitching the border, so I'm hoping the coffee I'm stitching had some browns in it, and that just doesn't give me the satisfaction. So yeah, I just got bored. There's nothing more to say about it. If finished, it is 12 inch by 16 inch. So it's actually a pretty large project again. And you can see there's a theme to what I tend to stitch. They all tend to be rather large, which means, yeah, it's really hard for me to finish something. That's why, I mean, it's quite sort of refreshing to have like the Christmas, the jingle paws, the Christmas ornaments, because they are quite small. But yeah, I guess it doesn't help that it's very repetitive as well on the borders. So yeah. And then the last one I'm gonna show you, I actually started it in November. End of November, I did a stitch with me. So I started on this Paris in flowers. It is my very first Luca-S kit. I got it as a birthday present last year from my friend, and this is also the friend I was a bridesmaid for, and this is what it looks like. And yes, it is another large project. How big is it? Does it say? I think it doesn't say here, but it is on 18 count Ada, and completed it would be 18.5 by 13.33 inch, so 47 by 34 centimeters, 54 colors, and it's full coverage with back stitching and all that. I don't know whether it has quarter, oh, it doesn't have quarter stitches, not this one anyways, so that's nice. And if you haven't done a Luca-S kit before, it is better designed than a dimensions kit. I mean, this one will be a bit different because the project itself is quite large, so it has 8 A3 pages charts, and the way it grids itself, it starts from the middle and then do 10, 20, 30 like that, rather than sort of start counting from the top left corner. And it also includes a separate color charts with all the, like, how many stitches for each colors. And I'll just say, okay, so the stitch count is 333 by 240. Yep. So it has a separate key if you really need it. And then it has like a, oh yes, a color chart. I mean, you can sort of read it, but every square is very small. I think it is more to give you a rough idea, like wherever you stitch, what kind of color it's supposed to have. So if you do use the wrong color, you might be able to tell, which is quite nice. So that's what the chart looks like. I don't think with this small you can see, but yeah, it includes the back stitch in there, and there's a separate page for some more back stitching. So yeah, I don't know whether it's because like they can't include it in there. So there's a separate page for some of the back, or the bulk of the back stitching. It is quite involved, as you could tell. So this is all just charts and all that. It's quite thick. And I don't mark on my paper charts just because I don't know, it gets messy. I don't like marking on paper. And I do like the possibility of like passing the charts on in the future once I finish it. So at least someone else gets to enjoy this. I don't know, it's kind of like a more economical way of enjoying your hobby, and also hopefully more environmentally friendly, because you get to reuse the chart. And there's something stopping me from pushing all the way in there. Sorry for the crinkling noise, but it's really annoying the fuck out of me. Anyways, so I have been stitching on this for 21 days. I stitched maybe a couple hours for the stitch with me. But yeah, right now I'm stitching on second page. So I loaded this on the 11 by 17 Q snap, and this is pretty much the reason why I wanted to get that table stand, so that I can stitch on it more. Yeah, being so far away, you could tell this is the building. There's a lamp, some purpley bushes. I have been solely like really enjoying this. I mean, at the start, where do I start? So at the start, I was stitching it because like it was out and I got COVID, which I will talk to you about it a bit later, like in the, I guess, life update area. But I got COVID, this was out, and I was quite sick or like impatient to like change projects because I just couldn't be bothered. So it was there, I decided to stitch on it. Not super enjoying it until like I realized, oh, I'm actually stitching something, like the buildings there, the bushes there. So what I do is, if you could tell from the preview, there is a lot of sky here and some building sort of shadow here, and those big blocks tend to be like kind of single colored. So I break this boring bit up with like the bushes. So pretty much I get one color out, I can always find somewhere to finish the color off. So it's very satisfying. and you do get a lot of different color choices. So I get my, you know, boring grays, whites, and some rich browns if I feel like it. And then there's also the purple, the green. Is there any blue? Don't think there's blue yet. And I got really excited when I got to the lamp. I mean, I sort of knew it was a lamp, but the bright yellow, I was like, damn, this was so cool. So I finished that, I think, or almost finished that thread. When I first started, I did the red. If I get it closer, would you be able to tell? But the red is a lot more fluffy. So it could be because of the tension was a bit off. So the red stitches are bulging out a bit more, but I think I finished almost all the red in this page. So what I do is I take a photo of the page and I load it onto GoodNotes and just mark off. Randomly I would miss some squares because, you know, you're just using your eyes and sometimes you tend to misjudge where you are. And also I thought I stitched it, I marked it in advance, and then later on I forgot I actually didn't stitch those squares. So sometimes there are some like squares missing. I'm hoping to get JP to scan the cross stitch charts at work. My work doesn't have the A3 printers or scanners, but he does. So I'm hoping to scan it properly and see whether I can load it into Markup RXP, because people are saying good things about, I guess, using Markup RXP for paper charts, but I haven't had the enjoyment of using that yet, because every time I try to load some paper charts, I couldn't get the page to be completely flat, so my photos always had some warped pages that just sort of screws up the whole gridding. So yeah, hopefully I can make that happen. Is there something else I can tell you? I don't know. Yeah, so I stitched it mostly in December. So 21 days, 1 day in November and 20 days in December. So pretty much the December was somewhat monogamous, which was nice. Like, I didn't really feel like stitching anything else, just focus on this. I think that's like, that means it has really good charting, or maybe I was just lucky because I started on a good section. I was debating whether to start from the top left or in the middle, but just in case my counting was off, I decided to just be on the safe side, start from the middle. And yeah, it's a really good place to start. Don't you just love that purple? The vibrancy kind of gets lost in the camera, but yeah, in real life, that purple is popping. Yeah, I still don't want to put it away yet, even though I know I should be stitching something else. Who knows? Maybe eventually I'll get bored of it and then change to something else. And that is my stitching update. Is there any plan? So there's not too much plan at the moment. I did mention I am putting Spring Will Come Away because I hit that 10% mark, and to bring out the Countryside. The Countryside is a purchase I made on Amazon. It is a kit by a Chinese company. It's called, they're called Stitch DMC or Max Stitch. I don't know which one is the right one, but it's on 14 count, very large again, possibly 360 by 252 or something like that. Right now I am still on the first 1/3 So I think it's a 18-page chart. Once I brought it out, I would want to put it away after I finish the first 6 pages, so the first top row. And I shouldn't be too far off, hopefully. That one, I do the same thing as the Paris in Flowers. I take photos of the pages and just mark off in good notes. I'm thinking maybe I should try to scan the pages at work. At least that one is A4 pages, so I can scan at work. But I don't know, because I marked off some colors already on good notes. I think if I start it all over, it'll get really confusing. But maybe I'll just make do, and once I go down to like the second 6 pages, I'll try to scan and load it into Markup RXP. I don't know. We'll see. So that's that, and what else did I plan? Oh yeah, so I previously said I wanted to try to finish Victorian Elegance this year, and it didn't happen. So at one point I was feeling like doing some beading, and then I thought, oh, it would be a good opportunity to do some beading on Victorian Elegance, but I ended up doing the beading for the Christmas, the mittens, because that one had some beads. And once that's done, I didn't feel like beading anymore. So I didn't end up touching the Victorian Elegance at all. I mean, in the new year, I should at some point touch it, just because it's really close to being finished. But yeah, it's like, something is annoying you, and the thought of doing that annoying thing just sort of deters you from touching it. It is what it's like between me and Victorian Elegance, just because I really hate the ribbon work. But you gotta face your fear. And then JP and I are thinking about splitting the channel. I think what will happen is he will keep this channel, and I will start a new one. And I think it will be good for the both of us. I mean, this topic has come up multiple times, but he always said, oh, no, it's cool to have a channel together, until I think he watched someone talking about like splitting his own channels, because he had like multiple things. And the fact that splitting the channel and making sure one channel is only for one thing really helped the 2 different channels grow. So he was more keen on the idea of sort of having our own channels rather than sharing one. So I think that will happen at some point next year. But we still got to have more time. No, we need to have more time off to figure out like the titles, the banners, and sort of what kind of style, what else, and maybe like whether we should keep the same, like the start of the video, like that picture thing. And then, I mean, splitting the channel is cool, because then I have the full, not decision, but I can make sure I put out whatever I want to put out, because right now we're sharing the same channel. I don't want to put out things that are too like girly or too extreme, just in case like his audience find it too much. And these 2 months I haven't been feeling like filming much at all. I just didn't feel motivated. And JP, on the other hand, ended up getting quite a few videos done, and I saw they were like his videos are quite popular, and he got he got quite a few subscribers. So I feel like sharing the same channel kind of does not prevent but deter the channel growth. So yeah, we're just gonna have more time to figure out how we want to do it. And I think that's pretty much it for the sort of cross-stitch related things. And I hope you have enjoyed the content so far. If you don't really care about, I guess, personal like life updates, then I'll bid you goodbye here. And I hope you have had a really good Christmas and you're about to have an amazing New Year. And after this video, we will hopefully take that tree down either tonight or tomorrow. And I'll see you in my next video, and maybe on my new channel. I will update you guys either in a video or on the the YouTube community posting. So yeah, if you're still here, you want to hear about life updates, here it is. So November generally was pretty busy. I think we did quite a lot of catch up, even though December was supposed to be even busier. What did I write down? So I did frame my wedding sampler and I posted, I think. Yeah, I posted on Instagram as well. And if I do have a picture still, I'll just post it here. So I was supposed to meet this friend and gift it to her sort of mid-December, but we got COVID, so it didn't end up making it happen. And the COVID sort of prevented a lot more things from happening, and I'll tell you later. What else did we do in November? So in November we decided to take a trip later on next year to New Zealand. I was talking to my mum, and my mum was like, oh, China's about to open up, do you want to come back? And at the time when we were talking, China was still sort of closing its borders. And I said, oh, I don't know, maybe not. So she proposed this idea of going to New Zealand, which I thought was pretty cool, because I even forgot New Zealand existed. Like, it could be a close destination rather than, you know, somewhere that requires like 3-4 weeks. So we quickly booked the dates for annual leave and started I guess booking for tickets and accommodations and booking for activities and all that, and that took quite a few days. And then somewhere in November, maybe mid-November, we did a chocolate making class, and that was done by my sort of previous colleague's boyfriend, who is a chocolate master. So he's pretty much a master in making chocolate, and he's also a pastry chef. So I wasn't sure what to expect when we went there, and it so happened that the day we went had a photographer and a videographer doing sort of like promotional photos and videos. So if I can find some, I'll put it here. It was a chocolate bar making course, and it was about 2 hours. And he was explaining different kinds of chocolates and the different standards in different countries. He loved chocolate so much that he traveled pretty much all around the world to know more about the raw ingredients of making chocolates and how to make chocolates taste better and all that. And in the class we sort of tried different things, and we watched him do different things like making chocolate ganache, and we got given some recipes like drinking hot chocolate and how to make that particular ganache that he made. And then we got taught how to temper chocolate. What else? And then we sort of polished the mold and just pour the chocolate in the mold to make chocolate bars. And we also got given different toppings sort of, and you could mix that with like the chocolate nibs, and the whole process was so fun, and we enjoyed it so much that we decided to book for like the Christmas chocolate making course, and that didn't happen because we had COVID. So that's that. So we actually had COVID mid-December. It was because JP went to this huge conference in Melbourne, and apparently it had like almost 800 people, and the whole lab almost like just had COVID. Like the whole lab was gone. So yeah, he brought it home and I had COVID too. I think I had like more on the severe side because I had 3 days of fever. So that week when he tested positive and I didn't, even though I had symptoms, we booked multiple things. We had a friend's 30th birthday to go to the Saturday, and I was supposed to meet them and gift them the wedding ride, the cross stitch I made like 2 years ago. Didn't happen. And the Sunday it was supposed to be the Christmas chocolate making class, and afterwards to meet my friend and to have yum cha and also give to her the cross stitch, the wedding sampler cross stitch project, and that didn't happen. And then the Monday I tested positive. I felt so crap when I woke up, having like really high fever, almost 39 degrees. I was dying. And that was like, that started the whole really shitty 1 week of staying at home. But because that was quite close to Christmas, and you know, if you do sort of hospitality sort of work or even healthcare, around Christmas gets crazy. So I ended up working from home for maybe half a shift for 3 days, like from Wednesday to Friday that week. And it really took a toll because I didn't really have much energy. So yeah, a lot of coughing, and my voice was weird for like a week after. And what else? Because of that, so I might have mentioned we were renovating our guest bathroom upstairs. It was literally towards the end of the whole reno project that we got COVID. So like the bulk of the reno was done, but there was still shower screen to put up and also mirror. And after that, it's the sort of fixing off the wall. So that couldn't happen. So now we still have a half done bathroom. And then we had a family Christmas get together. We did the cooking as usual, and we've been doing it for 6-7 years. I think it gets like to a point where it's very repetitive, very tiring now, and I'm quite fed up. So yeah, I'm not sure what will happen next Christmas. We'll see. What else? And then tonight, New Year's Eve, we sort of last minute, JP booked a karaoke thing, and he was hoping to get some friends to join us, but they tend to already have plans booked. So it will just be JP and I going to karaoke session. maybe sing for like 2 hours or something a night. And then tomorrow, 1st of Jan, it was supposed to be an epic Dungeons and Dragons session, but the dungeon master got COVID, so it couldn't happen, and we'll just have to chill at home. Maybe getting some housework done. I do some cooking, get some paperwork done possibly, and then 2nd of Jan, public holiday, I end up working. There will be a friend coming back from Japan that wants to crash at our place, so yeah, it's gonna be quite busy. And I think there might be some catching up to do again in Jan, and there's that cross-stitching meetup thing again. I should be able to attend, which reminds me I should be paying the $10 again. What else? I think, oh, and also, even though the chocolate course didn't happen, we didn't get a refund because we know we still want to try a second class of chocolate thing, and we're hoping to get on the bandwagon of the Valentine's chocolate, so hopefully it will happen at some point in Feb. What else? I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah. For now, I can't remember what else I want to tell you. Yeah, that's it. I think that's enough life update, I reckon. I think a lot of people have like New Year resolution for New Year's. I don't tend to have one, but I guess it's just best wishes for the new year. I don't know whether you could tell, but I have gained quite a lot of weight in recent months, like about 5 kilos. So I'm hoping to lose that by sort of exercising a bit more, and also just make myself generally healthier, because we still do want to do family planning maybe mid next year, so that gives me quite a bit of time to, I guess, get my physical health up to standard, and yeah, just overall, I guess, do things I want to do and improve the mental health as well. So that goes to stitching too, and making videos. So this year I have noticed sometimes I'll force myself to make a video even though I don't feel like it. Maybe next year when I do have my own channel, I will cut myself some slack. I'll make videos when I feel like it. Hopefully not sort of go missing for a long period of time. But yeah, I actually thought about not having a channel at all, but also I do want some kind of platform to show what I'm working on, and also, I guess, show you can be like a different type of stitcher than the majority. And I thought about just using Instagram, but I really don't like it. It's, I don't know, sometimes Instagram gives me like a bit of a toxic vibe. It makes me not feel so great about what I'm working on or my stitching. So I still don't feel very encouraged to use it too much. So yeah, hope you have a wonderful New Year's. You celebrate it with people you love. And just, yeah, stay healthy, stay safe. Yeah, mental health and physical health are really important, so you should focus on you, focus on people you love, and just let's enjoy the New Year's and see what it will bring. I guess. And hopefully I'll see you very soon, sometime next year. And that's it from me. Bye!